pocket Saturday.
Huh?
Be out of pocket Saturday.
All right, well, it's okay. Hey, we finish up.
I can't hear. Am I supposed to hear anything? Can't hear anything.
So, that is why.
We're talking enemies, talking random. We're talking enemies, talking random.
Welcome back to Barbershop Talking Random-ish. I am your master barber, Enrique Antonio King.
There you go.
I am back with my band of brothers, the Side Dogs themselves are in the building. Chair number, I don't know what chair he in this week, but he is here. What's good with you, my boy?
Hey, I'm good. He just put me in punishment.
Oh,
I
okay.
ain't got no headphones. Off to the side. I'm in punishment for being late today. It's okay though. Let's go.
And in chair number one, we got, call me Sam.
Slim.
That's my name, right?
Boy, you went from Sam to Slim Fit Necessity quick. What's good with you, my boy?
Tupperware bowls are clean. I'm not on that yet.
I mean, a returning Tupperware bowl.
I don't believe it.
See? Mr. Post Office himself is in the building. What's good with you, my boy?
Boy. I'm still trying to figure out this all roll all of a sudden. Where is this coming from?
Hey, man, you know,
Where is this coming from?
just being the all of me. It's just throwing all of me.
I got you.
know?
It's all of you.
All of me.
All of you.
All of me.
All of you.
The all of Rick. You know?
Okay.
Rick A. You know, it's all
I got
of me.
you. All the cane.
Yeah, all the cane.
All the
you know?
cane.
You know, everything that Mama gave me, you know, I'm just, just trying to explore it all, you know.
Okay. We're gonna roll with it. I'm gonna support you.
Well, thank you.
I'm gonna support you.
Thank you. That's,
Enrique.
that is I. Before we left, oh Lord, there we go. Boy, this thing here to be. And that's why my phone is always on silent.
I hear that.
Yeah, that's why my phone is always on silent, because when I'm trying to share like, it end up doing this. But before we left, Denny was talking about some of the things that he does pertaining to the veteran community. While I was in therapy Monday, my therapist, Malcolm Perry, shouts out, who actually helped me get in contact with Denny. We were sitting there talking, and I was telling him, you know, he always asked me what's the show going to be about, and I was explaining it to him, and I was letting him know that I was trying to get you, and that he was like, well, maybe we can ask the social worker that we have here. So he came in, and I asked him about it, and he was like, I would love to. But unfortunately, with the things that is going on with present administration, there's certain things I can't say. There's certain things I can't talk about. There's certain things that I can't do in fear of losing my job.
Right.
Well, I hope I haven't said any of those things. I'm gonna lose my job. No, I'm just kidding.
So that's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Did you have any trepidation about doing this because of what is currently going on with the administration?
No, not at all. I kind of, and maybe I'm naive, but I'm not disparaging the VA in any way. Not, discussing private patient information.
Absolutely.
I want to let the community know what the services we provide for the most vulnerable veterans that are in existence. So there are some signs that help me kind of come to my own conclusion about exactly how perilous our jobs may be here. We are still hiring social workers at the VA. All right, those social workers who have direct patient contact, again, you never know, but it appears that we're probably safe. We're needed, right? I mean, so, you know, I think if you're in support of those on the front line, so to speak, and you're maybe supporting those who are supporting, maybe they're trying to figure out ways to kind of lean that up a little bit and cut where they think they don't need. I don't really know. I'm not in those meetings and all that, but also it's kind of, you know, I don't care who you are politically, where you lean. It's kind of tough to stand on the podium and say, "And we're cutting services for homeless veterans." I mean, that's not a vote winner, you know. So again, I understand that this is part of the government. This is a part of bureaucracy. As sometimes administrations come in and they're going to do what they do, and I love my job. I hope I get to keep my job and all that, but mostly I think I focus on the mission, I focus on the purpose, and you know, we stay engaged and we do a good job. So because of that, I don't really worry about it. If it happens, it happens. And like I said, I don't want to come across as I don't really care, because I do. I don't want to lose my job. I love my job, but I was looking for a job when I found that job. You know, it's out of my control. I can't do anything about it other than be the best VA social worker I know how to be.
I got a question for you. I guess the first question is, how long have you been at Advantage? And depending on how long you've been there, this is like for the community. You know, they had some obstacles kind of lately. I think maybe last year. Could you tell the community, you know, what is not necessarily new, but what is better with Advantage Behavioral Health over there?
So I've been at Advantage for about 3 years now.
Okay.
About 3 years now, yeah. And I think what's a little bit different now is there is a new Advantage director. You know, she is someone who has come in and tried to implement some things. We are trying to become a BHCC, Behavioral Health Crisis Center. To make a long story short, that just puts us on a broader scale of things when it comes to funding. We are someone who is state funded as well. So with that, you know, with us trying to become a BHCC, there's been a lot of more positive implementations put in place for us. Yeah, as far as like positions, you know, they've thrown money at us, you know, things like that, and it's the policies have changed a lot there. Okay. You know, it's still not great. I mean, there's things that needs to be improved and worked on. But since I was there until now, I can say it's been a difference.
So you've seen the improvement.
Yeah, I've seen the improvement.
Okay.
There's much more improvement needs to happen. But
yeah,
yes, I've
because
definitely seen
the
improvement.
community is, you know, I mean, Athens is small, and they hear
Yes.
it, and a lot of our people that we know, they actually take advantage of those services. Yeah, those services that y'all have over there. So that's the reason why I asked that question, because we knew it was a big change over there. So yeah. So
I would say, man, I think they do a yeoman's job over there, based on what they are dealing with, you know. So I mean, I praise them. Like they helped me through some situations personally, for real. So like I think that what they have to deal with every day, I don't think a lot of people understand what they going through over there, right? So
Just
I commend them,
the
right?
sheer
It's
volume of people.
It's a volume of people, and then it's just a repetitive people too,
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like they can fix that. They can bring you in for whatever, what y'all call them, the crisis unit.
crisis unit.
What is I don't know what it calls. When you go to the crisis unit, you're gonna probably stay about 3 or 4 days.
Stabilization,
right. So at the same time, then they there, then they got to get released, And then back again.
and then back again.
It's like a endless
It's like a
cycle over
cycle.
there. It's
Okay.
it's a cycle over there.
But
So
Denny, right?
Yeah,
Denny brought up a good point. You know, a lot of clients that come in there, I can't want it more than you want it.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, so when clients are repetitive, they're not ready yet.
They're not ready.
They're not ready yet. They have not come across the right person, the right resources, whatever it may be.
Right. I agree.
To take them to the
agree.
path that they are trying to get to.
Right.
You
I
know,
agree.
and everyone's path is different, and everyone wants to get there when they want to get there. You know, and all we can do is try to guide them and set them on that path and set them up with the right resources. But at the end of the day, you know that person has gotta want it. And there's a lot of things that gets in the way. You know, I think mental health a lot of times is one of the biggest things. You know, just really having someone stay on their medications is huge. You know, and when they come in, they're like, you know, I've been off on medications, things like that. When they leave, I feel so much better. I feel good. Guess why? You taking your medication, and that might be a
when you get
life.
off it, and you get off it, you go back into the
And
same
that might be a
cycle. and back
lifelong
over it
thing
again.
that you
Right.
have to deal with,
right.
and that is one of the things that I try to help people understand. Like it's okay if you're on mental health medications. There's nothing wrong with that. You are your better self with that, and that's why it's important for you to recognize that and stay on them. So, but again,
So,
it's up to the person, the individual.
I got a question. So, what is your outlet? Because it's got to be frustrating.
Gotta have
It's-
self-care.
There we go.
It's got So what is your self care then? Give me an example, both of you.
Right.
So you've had that hard day. You've seen that patient every day this week, and you know you're gonna see him again next week because he's not taking his medication, and he's just gonna fall through the cracks, and he's gonna come back. What do you do to cope with that at the end of the day?
Bourbon.
Tito's.
I would normally agree with you. I took my last drink of alcohol on my Marine Corps birthday this past year.
Congratulations.
And I don't want to celebrate too much.
Hey, big guy, you're right,
I really
right.
wasn't a big drinker anyway.
Right.
I just I don't miss it at all because I've never had any cravings or anything. I just didn't have a problem with it, but I just like, you know what? I'm gonna go at least a year. Just
All right.
I'm gonna do that.
That's
Just
what's
made a
up.
decision. Good
Yeah,
job.
I've lost like 50 pounds since I
Yeah.
Maybe I was
It
drinking more
does.
than I thought.
You start drinking, the
Yeah.
weight will drop off.
Yeah, because the munchies come with it. You know what I mean?
And
Yes.
then like,
Yes.
and then when you,
Yes.
then when you, hey,
Maybe I need to stop. I gotta figure that.
the barley, like, all,
Yeah, it all turns to sugar. You know?
Right, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm having a
sugar
couple
is
of
fat.
bourbons. Where are them Doritos? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's really been good for me. You know, so
Congratulations.
Okay, absolutely. Congratulations. Pooh.
So, when I come home, I vent sometimes. I gotta let it out. I gotta vent. Of course, client confidentiality, so I don't release names, but I tell mine too about all kinds of stuff that happened that day and this. But I think for me, at the end of the day, when I walk out that door, I know I've done the best that I can.
Okay.
I know when I walk out that door, I put my feet and my hands in it that
Yeah.
day. And if I know that, then I'm
good.
good. I'm good.
Is this something that you always wanted to do?
Okay.
What was your path? Yeah, there we go. Let's get that. That's what I like to see. How they do that?
Yeah,
Let's get it.
Because I know that she said she's still in school. So obviously you're in that.
I'm
same
late. I'm
direction.
late in the game. I'm
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm
It's
late in
okay.
the
It's
game.
okay.
you're graduating at 50 late.
Yeah.
Right.
So yes, in a sense, it's something I've always wanted to do. I have a brother who is my older brother, 10 years older than me, and growing up with him, having paranoid schizophrenia, and so growing up with him as a child and trying to figure out like what's wrong with my brother, what's going on with him, always just curious about it, not understanding it. That's what made me want to get into it. So
Take your time.
okay.
Take your
It's
time.
okay.
Breathe.
Take your time.
okay. But I have my background is mostly HR. Like I have 20 plus years in human resources, and when my job got eliminated, that's what made me be like, you know what? This is my time to do something different. I had went to school to get my bachelor's in criminal justice and social criminal justice, and so at that time, that's when I stepped into the jail. I went to the jail for a year, and I was there, And I had talked to a couple people who said, you know, you can get in there, you can do, you know, social work, this. So I went in there, got put into a cell with the inmates, and I was like, this ain't what I thought this was supposed to be like. This ain't it, you know. No. I found myself talking to inmates, talking to conversations, talking about stories, and I found myself resonating with them and like, wow, you know, I can do something different, not in this level, because this level is more of you're an inmate, I'm the deputy sheriff, and so I basically, from there, I decided to go back to school. And I was like, you know what? I want to learn more about mental health. I want to learn about my brother. Learn about, if I got family that have drug addictions, I want to understand the chemical balance behind that, or chemical imbalance behind that, and understanding kind of what that's like. And so that's kind of what made me want to do it. Yeah. So I have gotten like little pieces, degrees in it. But this is the first time I really kind of went back to school, getting into it, and really understanding it.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I don't know if y'all out there heard her, but she said sometimes she go home and vent to Montu. If y'all don't know who this woman is, she is the wife, the better half of an Athens legend, a brother of ours who I am so blessed to have met him and her. Professor Hip Hop, I like to call her. But this is Montu's wife.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and the crazy part about it, when I was at Advantage, I saw her, but now I saw her. When we went to Hendershot.
Yes.
It struck something.
Yeah.
Hit different. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know her, so
Yeah.
she didn't probably recognize me, but yeah, because I was in the crisis unit,
Yeah.
for a period of time.
And I didn't, so.
Right, you probably didn't. Yeah.
But yeah.
So
And
yeah,
So
that's my story.
So she is with a person who understands some of the things that she goes through, and that's kind of leading into the question I would like to ask, because I was trying to get a social worker that worked into the school system to also come in, but I couldn't. Keisha, I'm still mad with you. But my brother Denny, you have done social work in the school system, and I'm sure you have dealt with kids coming in and out of your system. What is that process like when you have to deal with kids that have these extraordinary things going on and trying to help them?
So that's a lot of family work. Families with barriers and trying to figure out what they are and how can we support you here and that kind of thing. Now, specifically, I worked at Foothills at East Jackson High School right when it opened up. So a lot of my job was just driving over to the kid's house and saying, hey man, hadn't seen you in school. If you aren't familiar with Foothills, a lot of these kids have dropped out. It provides them with 4 hours a day that they can come in off work or whatever and come in. It's online. There's a teacher in there to help them out to try and get a diploma. And if we got a kid that doesn't show up a couple times, I might drive out and say, hey, what's going on, man? You working? Or I might even work with their permission, the kid's employer, and say, hey, this kid's trying to go to school. Can we work around the schedule to make sure he can get in a couple of days a week so he can get his credits? And sometimes you find out that, well, I didn't have any money for gas. And at the time we had grant money and I was able to buy gas cards, and they're like, hey, well, let's don't let that stop you. Here's a gas card, Really it's about, and this is really the foundation, in my opinion, of all social work, to include, and teaching, because I was a teacher too, but building close personal relationships with people.
Yes.
Where they really genuinely know that you care about them and that you're there to help, that you can be trusted. And that is how you reach people. And that's how, because a lot of people we work with don't have that in their life for whatever reason. I think I shared with you, I taught at Rutland kids with significant emotional behavior disorders. That's kind of how I got led into this field, was working with kids who didn't trust a single adult in their life at all.
Right.
And building that trust and not taking behavior personal and like, wow, man, I saw you threw that chair across the room. I appreciate you not throwing it at anyone. Let me know when you're ready and we'll go clean that up. I'll help you out if you want me to. And they're like, what? Because they're used to getting yelled at, threatened, punished, that kind of thing. So when they believe in you, man, they know that you believe in them. You can do just about anything, really. You can help that kid achieve just about anything. It's that's what led me out of education and into social work.
Okay.
And when my first day as the supervisor of the home, I walked into the house and I just observed the kids, and I was like, okay, I pointed out the kid that I felt was kind of like the leader, and he was, and so he wanted to
Swell up.
at me. It was cool. Okay, cool. So we got out there, we wrestled a little bit. Boom. Showed him that the old man was all right.
Yeah.
So then, that kind of embarrassed the guy. I embarrassed him in front of his boys. So he ran outside. So now let him go. So later I went outside and just talked to him. Hey man, this is who I am. This is why I'm here. And after I sat there and talked to him and let him know, hey man, I get what you are, I get who you are, I get why you're here. But that don't define who you are. And the one thing that I have figured out is all these kids were looking for was love, discipline, and consistency. So I made sure not only my staff, but myself was this way every day. This is who I am. This is who I'm gonna be. Every day you walk down them steps, I need you, before you come down the steps, stop by that bathroom. Take care of that mouth. Because all of them, when they come in, they're glad to see you. Because they probably had a bad night with the staff they had, so they want the new staff so they can tell on those that, no, we're going to be consistent about this every day. Every day I need you to do the same thing. And once I found that you was hitting them with consistency, you wasn't showing favoritism, you love them as hard as you discipline them. In fact, you love them harder than you discipline them. And that to me brought me my greatest joy, is just to see that they are okay. Once we got them to being okay. I guess the greatest success story is when I got a kid, he got adopted. I never forget when I first got there, we had to go down his IEP and his whole thing, and we had to figure out what it was going to take to help him be successful. He said he wanted a family. So once we identified a family, once he went to visit the family a few times and everything, and I broke it down to him. I said, look here, man, if you want to one day leave here and go there permanently, you got to do this, and this. I said, and I promise you, dude, if you do the things that you're supposed to do, I promise you will get your family. And this kid, within the time that I was there, he did a 180 with his behavior and the things he was doing, because he wanted his family. He got his family. And that was probably the greatest day I had while I was employed with them.
I bet that was very rewarding.
Man, it was right up there. Seeing my kids come into this world,
right?
That was like close. It was close because I seen the system actually work for one of these kids.
Yeah.
And so getting them to believe in you, like you said, getting them to understand that you're there for them.
Right.
Go ahead.
I worked at
I guess yeah.
Hey, I'll put out some names out there because I was in the juvenile detention center for a minute, but then I went to a group home. But you got some amazing people out here.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't necessarily call it social work, working at a detention center, but when I went to the group home, Sammy Beasley, where you at?
So Spud.
What up, Spud? Yeah, me and Spud ran the whole group home out there in Barrow County, and I'm not going to go through them, but we saw some amazing things, some amazing stories with these kids. You know, like 360-degree turnarounds. You know, and then not only that, they recognize you 20 years later.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because you made an impact.
Yes, and they say, hey, this is what I got going on. I work here. You know, this is my wife, or this is my child. You know, I'm doing good. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding.
Yes.
Back then the money wasn't good, but because I had to work part time. Yeah, but it's very rewarding.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, let me just add, like, on Social Work Month, I think it's important to point out that you don't need letters behind your name to do social work.
Right.
What you guys are describing, what you did, the impact you had, that is social work.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, happy Social Work Month to you guys too. You don't have to get paid. You don't have to have letters behind your name. It's important work, and a lot of times it does come from just, you know, a groundswell of community involvement. You know, good people, and you guys know this. These young men who are facing these crises, you know, they need men in their lives.
Yes.
A good positive role model to show them, man, you don't have to be this way. You know?
Right.
I remember teaching, I'd tell kids, oh, hey, this guy, I'm no good. Dude, I failed 7th grade and the 10th grade. Go cry to somebody that thinks you can't do it. I know you can do it, because if I did it, you can do it. And then, you know, watching them go. But I did a little work at the jail, and it is rewarding seeing former students, even though they are at the jail. Mr. Petway, tell Miss Petway I said hi.
I think a lot of kids, you know, the behaviors that they display, underlining, it's fear.
100%.
It's fear. It's fear of something. It's fear of not knowing that structure tomorrow, not knowing, you know, not the discipline you had touched base on there. So I think, like, once you kind of underline, you know, what are you scared of? You know, what's going on? You talk to them. I think you can touch some people, like, really, and adults. I see it in the message for adults. You know, and you know it's something to see a grown man cry. Like, you know what I mean? I mean that in that sense, like, I'm just tired of being tired, but they're scared of something or something that, you know. So yeah, it's underlying fear. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, and like I say, that's if the only problem I had with the job. And at the time, it was because I couldn't separate it. I couldn't separate that job from my home life.
Right.
And because I got so involved with those kids, and I never forget my ex-wife one day. She was like, "You know, you have a family here," and I was like, "Wow," because it was probably the 3rd time that week I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna eat dinner with the kids," you know, and. But I had to figure out a way to separate that because my only feedback to her was they don't have a family. Right. She said, "But you do," and you know, not taking that away from the kids, but
you can't sacrifice your family for theirs.
Absolutely.
That's so
but
true.
You can do one thing better though. You can just include them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, include them. Like, you got those several kids. You doing this with, just bring your family, bring your kids with you when you go do your yeoman's work.
And believe it or
and
not,
then that works.
What I guess I'm sitting here thinking about it, Lee, and Rick and Larry, because you guys was in this. I think Lee's still in it, but would you consider what you guys do with the kids when y'all coaching? Would you consider that social work?
Yes.
I mean,
big time social work.
We social work a little bit
every night, every day we social working, man. Because one thing about it is, like, even though we coach them in athletics, me and Rick, right? But there's a backside that even when Larry was with us, right? There's a backside. So you have an actual conversation because you build a relationship with this kid, and this kid gonna tell it. And so he gonna show it.
Right.
So it's our job to be able to correct certain things or inform them on certain things, and that's what we do. So it's definitely social work.
It's mentorship, really.
Yes,
Yeah.
both. Right. Yeah. Because
I mean,
Is it safe to say that mentorship is social work?
Yes, it is,
definitely,
for sure.
Definitely. Some of the most important work I do is mentoring
Right.
people.
Yeah.
So
Because I would
100%.
imagine that some of those kids' lives, you're probably the only male figure they have.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, and
We are.
and they look forward to coming to speak to their coach. You know,
Right, yes.
but you're probably
Right.
more than that to some of them. For
Right,
sure.
and you'll be surprised some of the conversations you actually have with these kids.
Absolutely.
You know, like that will really like sink your heart
Yeah.
when you think about like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and one thing about a kid's gonna be real.
Absolutely.
Tell the truth
Every
they'll
time.
tell the truth. Yes.
Absolutely.
Tell the truth.
And that's why if people hear me say,
Nothing but the truth.
I don't like
So-
grown folks, right? That you hear me say, if you've been with me enough time, you'll hear me say I don't like grown folks, but I like kids.
Love kids.
And it's for the
Love
simple
kids.
fact, well, the kid hadn't been tampered yet.
Yeah.
Right.
They hadn't been brainwashed with all the BS of the world.
Right.
So right now, while they still honest and just to have that youthful whatever.
Great.
That's what I love, especially when you can get a kid that has had some problems or haven't trusted anybody, and you can make them look forward to seeing you. Where you at, Coach? Coach, why you in here?
Right.
Hey, I mean, they come up and give you a big hug, and
Right. Cause that football game we had today, it was epic.
that was epic.
We just sit around, had a little barbecue, whatever. And an epic football game broke out with about 30 kids.
About 30 kids, yeah.
15 on 15. I'm like, on the east side, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but like I said, it just, most of these, from what I've seen, they just want to know that somebody cares. Want somebody to love you. Because to me, whenever the reason why I drove an hour and a half every Friday to watch my son play football is that one moment when he just look up in the stand and see his dad.
Half a second.
That matters.
That half a second. And for you to be a little kid and you look up there and you can't see that it does something to that kid. So I just want to make sure that kid knows.
It does a lot to the kid. Like think about when we traveled to Atlanta and we packed our cars with
Yes,
kids
sir.
and they
Yes,
parents
sir.
didn't come. Like
Yes, sir.
you know they didn't say it, but you know
Yeah.
that it's an impact.
Yeah.
Because I know when I played, the first part of when we played, because my mother was working in school, so we relied on our coaches came and picked us up. So I know she couldn't be there, and we wanted her there.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But she had to take care of other business. But then when she got her business taken care of, she was there in the stands.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when we did the home runs or the triples or doubles or stealing bases, we could look up there and see her doing like this.
Yeah.
Job well done. So
Yes,
so
sir.
it matters.
That
So
does.
and people don't really understand like how much it just matters to these kids. They usually come out there and just even if you don't know the sport, just your mere fact that you in that presence, in that space,
Absolutely.
it changes them.
Yeah. And that's why like when we had the other coaches, that's why we spend a lot of time begging the parents, please come out here. Just come out here just show up for your kid. I mean, on Saturdays when we playing, just let them see. You know, even if they're not playing, if they can turn around and see their mama and daddy, that just does something to them. And so it's just it's all about that foundation.
I'm gonna just put this in here, this little shout out for mine too, and get involved in your kids' schooling. Get involved in their school. Know what their grades are. Know what they're going. Show up for the parent-teacher conferences. Because, I mean, I hear stories from him all the time about parents not showing up. Don't know the kid was doing this. Didn't know their grade. Didn't know they was filling all 4 classes. You know, this is in high school.
Yeah.
So you gotta show up.
That's sad.
You gotta show up for them too in school.
I quit calling parents.
Yeah.
I just quit because you're not going to answer the phone anyway.
Right.
And then when you do, you're cussing me out and blaming me. And I just quit. I figured out, like, okay, well, I had a homework problem. Okay, so what can I do to get these kids to do their homework without parent involvement? And so we figured it out. Like, any kid that shows up with their homework gets 30 minutes before class of playing Beyblades.
Right.
Oh my gosh, they were just eating that homework up, man.
That's
They
what's
were
up.
getting it done, you know. So yeah, I mean, and I'll point out too, teachers, if you're listening, the kids know when you don't like them, right? And
sure.
they know it, and they will tell you. And I'll go in and pull a kid out as a behavior specialist in Clark County, and like, why is it just Miss So and So's class or Mr. So and So? That teacher hates me. I already know they hate me. And I'm like, well, basically when I talk to her, she's like, I can't stand that little, you know. And they know, and it's not easy, but you have to look at this as a classroom management tool. I can't stand this kid. However, for classroom management purposes, I have to be a professional, and it's going to be my job to make sure that kid knows that I love him and I care about him.
Right.
And then when they leave, you can just go vent to your spouse and drink a bottle of wine, whatever you got to do. But you want more behavior problems, just keep needling this kid.
Just ignore it.
Keep needling him. Keep being sarcastic, and you're getting what you're reaping what you sow.
Right. I agree with that. I think if you invest in your kid, and they ain't gotta like it, for the most part, right? But you're really turning a foundation in them. Like you're setting the foundation for them to be successful later on.
Yeah.
So, and it seems weird at first. But then you got the other people whatever, I'm doing all this stuff, so the kid just kind of running random. So that's what we have a lot of kids, they're just random kids just trying to figure it out for themselves. They're freaking kids.
Yeah.
Right.
It's our job to culture them.
Yeah.
And build them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the problem I think that we have right now. We just letting kids just run random, and I see it. I see them when I go to certain places. Like I'm seeing kids in places they're not supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to just put it out there. A lot of people that I've seen the crisis unit, as adults, those were those kids.
Right.
Those were those kids, and they would tell you their whole
So they learn,
childhood about how they got to now as adults where they're at.
You're right. Because like I said, when you said it's one kid, particular kid. I won't put no names on him, but he's in places he shouldn't be. So me looking at it on the outside, looking in, this is where you're gonna be when you grow up.
And of course, choices are made, and you grow up with different things. But that trajectory of what you see and what you do as a child, that's what you know. That's those decisions.
So that's where you're gonna go. Right.
My mom was not involved. My dad was not involved. I raised myself, and I raised myself on the street.
The sad part, the sad irony is like you got a kid, or for one instance, or kids that have a parent, and they have another parent that brings them into the bad environment, right? So it's not like you missing one of the other parents, right? But the parents made a conscious decision, like, okay, if you gotta go here, it's fine. Leave your kid at home, right? Why bring him into this madness so he can really this is what he's learning. So forget school, forget college, forget anything. He gonna be right here, cause this is what he know.
Man,
so that's a great. So as social workers, when you find these things, when you go to a home to do these evaluations, you find out that parent A might be doing the best they can, but parent B is hurting the situation more than they're helping the situation. What are the things that, as a social worker, what do y'all do? How do y'all handle those situations?
Well, again, I'm a parent of 6 boys. I judge no parent mostly, but if your kid is in juvenile detention because you sent them down the road to buy marijuana, your kid's banned from the store down the road because you sent them in to steal the food or whatever, or the snacks and all that. I mean, I've seen so many. I've gone to get a kid, Zernona. Anyway, I've gone to get a kid who wouldn't come to school, and I go in there, and the parents are laid out on the couch, hungover, drunk. Kids in the 2nd grade playing Grand Theft Auto with his dad. And I remember talking to Dad saying, listen, man, your kid is in a behavior-focused classroom in a school that is not even his school. Let's not teach him how to beat hookers with lead pipes and curse people out. Like, that's not the game you want to play with him.
Yeah,
Okay, he's in
absolutely.
second grade. When he gets to be a teenager, then he can kind of separate these things, whatever. But and just tell him that's you're getting this because that's why. It's amazing to me how many parents would come in and just not understand why. I'm like, bro, it's you. 100% of the time, it is you.
Yeah.
If you couldn't talk, right? How would your kid know what your values are and what's important to your family? Well, they know by watching you.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter at all. It matters what you do, because that's what, you want your little girl to marry a good man, you got to be a good man.
Right.
You want your son to grow up to be a good citizen and treat his wife well. Well, you got to be a good citizen and treat your wife well, treat his mother well, whether you're married or not. You have to model this to your kids. That in what you model is what you're going to get from your children. You can't say, hey, you better go to school and be where you're supposed to be and not talk mean or ugly to those teachers, and then they hear you cussing them out over the phone. I mean, so you just have to model the behavior you want to see in your children.
Yeah. 100. When I was in the group home, and you got kids that separated from the parents, the reason why they're there, and you finally meet the parent. It's plenty of days you go back to staff and be like, we got the wrong person in this home. This kid never had a chance.
Oh, right.
Just like a lot of cycles that need to be broken.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
And that's...
And sometimes, honestly, it's not the parents' fault.
Right.
They don't know. They don't know because it's a cycle. It's a cycle.
No, you're right.
And that's education for the parents. It is. It's a cycle.
People, look, you work with the tools you have.
Absolutely.
And you don't have tools, you're doing the best you can based on what you know. It's very much a cycle. Right. And the school system, and I'm just going to say it, man, that's not where you are going to have this expectation that this is going to get taught.
Yes.
Right? It's just not. This has to come from the home.
Right. To me, it's not in their job to do that.
No.
Well, they're trying.
Right. It's not their job to their job is to teach.
Yeah.
Educate
our kids, right? Their job is not to raise our kids.
Right.
Absolutely.
At all. So we can't send our kids to school like it's a daycare or way apart from us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
you have to at least partner with the school,
and be part and do your part.
Right.
And do your part.
Yeah. Do your part.
Right.
They're gonna do their part, and they get the school system, they so stressed out and overdrawn because as a community, we are giving them mess.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's
not their job to raise a kid and try to teach a kid at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I felt like I was putting this little model in the bottle kind of thing, and I've just got this thing finished, and it's beautiful, and I give it to the kid, when he comes back to the next day, he's just stomped on.
Yes.
I'm just like, oh.
My wife taught pre-K through 3rd grade, and most of the classrooms are 20 plus students.
Yeah.
And she always says, she said, I have to make a decision. I have to decide if I'm going to teach those that want to learn, or if I'm going to focus on those whose parents don't show any interest.
That's tough.
I have to make that decision.
Wow.
That's tough, though.
It is.
Because either way in society, you got to live with you got to live with both of them.
You got to live with both of them, but it's a lose-lose because
it's a straight lose.
If I don't focus on these that want to get it, I'm gonna lose them, and there's no guarantee I'm still gonna get these over here because I don't have the support system at home.
Yeah.
Because the parents never came to. I used to be at open house and help set everything up. They never showed up. They came in with the class list, told the kids that don't nobody tell you what to do but me, and already sent them in with a negative image. But if I focus on them, I'm gonna lose them. So it goes back to what you said. It's not the school's responsibility to teach morality, to teach decency, to teach life lessons. The teacher is to teach the lesson that's put in front of them.
Man,
That's
wouldn't that
it.
be great? We would not lose so many teachers.
You
sir.
would,
Right,
you would.
right.
And,
It's
and-
hard.
and the,
I mean, I would-
the reason we lose so many
Yeah.
teachers is because of the administration. The administration is dealing with the politics, and the politics roll
Everything's
downhill.
political.
Everything.
Everything is political.
Right.
Because everything's based on graduation rate.
Yeah.
You know, they build prisons based on the third grade
Third grade test.
Third grade
Yes, sir.
testing.
Test, yeah.
So everything is pushed on that. Get ready for that third grade test. How are we gonna do? How are we gonna do? How are we gonna do? It's not about what you learn. It's about what you can memorize and how you can
Absolutely. Absolutely.
how you can placate this system. So it has to get back to community. It has to get back to mentorship. It has to get back to what we're really talking about, social work.
Right.
Because you know it's no longer. We all grew up in a time where, you know, I remember one instance doing something wrong. The lady down the street popped me.
Mm-hmm.
Got 3 houses up, I got popped.
Mm-hmm.
My
Before you even
grandmama
got
popped
to the
me.
house?
Yeah.
And then when I got home, when Mama got home, she popped me.
Right.
Right. That
Because
makes sense.
everybody,
Yes, sir.
the
Right.
community helped raise.
Yes, sir.
Right.
But
Yeah.
now you can't look at a child wrong
No.
and they jump. So
Right.
Well,
we moved from everybody has, I don't want to say a right, but everybody took time to help raise
Yes.
Right.
our kids together. And now I don't want you to say nothing to my child.
Right.
I don't care if you're out here killing somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't speak to them.
So that's my biggest problem with what Larry just said. I'm gonna piggyback on that. It's so crazy that these parents, not everybody, but they're not raising their kids right.
Yeah, but they don't want you to
know
raise
that when they go to school.
Yeah.
And something happens, they don't want you to say nothing to it. They don't come down to school and cuss you out and all this kind of stuff because you don't need to be talking to my kid like that. But you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have to talk to your kid like that if you raise them correctly. But they can't say
You can't
that.
say that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They can't say that, but that's just what it is. Like
That is
but
exactly
then
what it
crazy.
is.
Now you want to be a parent because somebody's
Because somebody
suspended
said
your
something,
son
somebody
because
said
you got to
something.
stay at home with you and you got to take off work.
Now you
now
got
you
to
mad.
And then you go up to the school and
Right.
show your
Right,
ass.
show your butt, right.
Show your ass.
Right, because you got to stay at home
And you're
with you.
seeing that in front of your child is
Right.
seeing that.
Right.
And so how your child gonna act
Right.
till next
Man,
week?
y'all triggering me right now.
Right.
As a teacher, you ever notice who never miss a day?
Oh, the EBD kids don't miss a day. I
children,
know.
they never miss a
They
day.
never
No.
miss a
You
day.
know why? Because
They
the
get them out there.
parents don't want them home.
Right, they
No.
get them out there.
They don't
Those kids that I taught with emotional behavior disorders, man, they do not miss.
They do not miss a
do not
day.
miss. They come to school with 102 fever, throwing up off the bus. They do not miss. I ain't lying. But you know, your adults held you accountable back
Yeah,
then.
everybody
you know,
held you accountable.
and that's
Absolutely. It's a
and
village.
you
was the
knew,
difference.
you knew what the community's values were because everybody in the community,
Right.
you know, and you was out doing something kind of crazy, you knew to hide it from Mr. Bill
Absolutely.
and
Yeah, 'cause they
Miss
were gonna tell you.
Sally. And
Yeah,
all that. Yeah, you knew. Yeah, so.
Yeah, you're right.
And now you got social media and like
Oh, yeah.
you know we raised in
Yeah.
an era where we did stuff and nobody knew about it because it
Yeah.
wasn't on
yeah.
all
Right.
this. It was not.
You
out
know,
there.
I'm gonna tell you when I realized it was lost, and it's because I was so naive. I went into education thinking, you know, hey, we're gonna do something here, you know. But I was again teaching the really difficult behavior kids, and I love them, right? The grown-ups ran me out of education, not the kids. But I saw a video on World Star, this back when World Star was something, right?
Yes, sir.
And it was these grown-ups forcing these 5-6-year-old kids fighting, and then the whole community just laughing about it. And they were having them fight like it was a cockfight. And I'm just like, dude, this is already over a cliff. This is already over a cliff. What am I doing? What am I mean, 20 years in the Marine Corps. It was 7 in education where I was like, I gotta get out. I can't do this. So, I mean, it's just sad, man. You're these teachers, that you're bailing out the Titanic with a Dixie cup. That's it.
I got a funny story. Aaron Hester, shout out to our boy.
Yes,
Aaron
sir.
Hester, all right?
Yes, sir. Say dog.
Yeah, and,
Yes, sir.
congratulations on your new job coming
Yes,
up
indeed.
also too. But he called me yesterday. You know he gonna call me once a month, right? And when he calls me, Lee knows this. He's at school.
Yes, sir.
He don't say what's up, Sam, or nothing. He's, hello, this is Mr. Hester. I have your kid right here. Blah 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 blah. You know they're not doing right. Blah blah blah. And then you can hear the kid in the background. No, Mr. Hester, don't do that. Don't call. You know that. So I'm thinking, Why he's not calling the parent?
Cause they don't care.
Because they don't care.
They don't
Right.
care.
Yeah.
He calls me at least once a month.
Yeah.
Hang up the phone. Don't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
say, I'm gonna call you back. No, ain't none of that.
Yeah.
He plays the role.
Yes.
You can hear the kid in the background.
Yeah.
I just be quiet. I just let him talk.
Yeah.
And then we go through those. That's a good point, right? These parents just don't care.
Yeah.
Aaron will call their parents if they care, but Aaron don't call their
Yeah.
parents.
See, and once the child knows that the parent doesn't care,
Yeah,
the battle
that's-
is lost.
Yeah,
Right,
I've
exactly.
heard second, third grade kids cuss their mama out on
I've
the phone.
heard
I swear to you.
kindergartners.
What?
Call
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
I don't know what I'm allowed to say here, but you can
Right.
call that B word if you want to. I'm like,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
okay, I'll call you
No.
bluff. I'll call her up. I don't give a just
Yeah.
and just
Everything-
hang up on her, and I'm like, oh Lord, have mercy.
Everything is learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Just understand that. So,
It's hard, man. It's just hard to watch, and you can imagine the trauma of watching
Yes.
what these 5 and 6-year-old kids who are forced to fight each other. They don't want to fight each other. They're friends. They want to play with each other and all that. You know, it's just stealing their innocence, and
Right.
it's just horrible, man. And really something's got to be done. I really don't know what it is. That's way over my pay grade. But it's got to be in the community. The school systems are trying to figure it
You
out,
just said
but
it.
they don't want to say it for what it is. You know, they
They
want,
might.
we're going to
can't.
do social emotional learning, and we got time for all that.
They can't because
can't.
because they're at risk of losing
reach.
their job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reach is
Yeah.
the community, period. You know,
Yeah.
so that's
Absolutely.
It. I mean, you just answered your own question.
It's the
To me,
community.
it's
It goes
community,
back to the
it go back
community.
to us.
You go back to us as parents.
Policing and raising our own.
Well, I've
absolutely.
thought of like, is there a way, to maybe figure out some kind of, again, some 10-pound brain, not me, get some kind of grant together to create some kind of parenting resource, community, something where everybody can kind of come together.
You know what? I think the grant should go to like people like us getting back into the community.
Yeah.
So that's what it's gonna really take. Like we can sit and talk about a lot of word
Yeah.
play, but if you're not on the block over there every
Right.
day
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
seeing this in Nelly B,
Yeah.
Rock Spring, then it doesn't matter. We can talk this till we blue in the face,
Yeah.
but if we not foot on ground
Right.
trying to make a difference, that's where
No,
the
you're
change
right.
is gonna come. You
I'm
know,
gonna
to me.
keep it even more real, man. Like my frustration in trying to work with these kids, right? It took me longer to build a relationship because I don't look like them.
Yeah.
I'm a Disney character. Oh, you don't know it, but I can tell them my story. But I don't know what food stamps are. I know what
Right,
the coupons look like.
Right,
You don't know
right.
it.
They'll know that. Hey, they'll know the card. They'll know the card. They'll know the book.
No,
They'll know the book. They'll know the book.
You don't-
Bring it out there, like $1
You
a
don't,
year,
you
bro.
do not know shame until you
Right,
stand
right,
there
right.
and pull
Exactly.
those out, man.
Hey, and scanning the card is so much easier than having to, like,
Yes.
I used to be embarrassed.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Pulling them off.
I'll sit up there and turn around.
And
You pull it out.
Yes, sir.
They'll get the EBT card, but you shook
Yes, sir. They got them in Beazle, so you ain't even
And failing the 7th grade, failing the
Good.
10th grade, having absent parents. I mean, my story
Right.
is a lot like theirs, but it doesn't resonate because I don't look like them, you know?
But it goes back to what we talked about earlier. They have to be willing to take it. Just like we talked about coming into the crisis center. We can't want it more than they want it.
Absolutely.
Well, you talking about kids?
Talk about the parents. Even the parents. The kids are just gonna the kids are gonna feed off kids are gonna feed off whatever environment they're in.
Yeah.
Boots on the ground, they still have to change their mindset.
Right.
They still have to want it. We can't want it more than they want it.
Right.
We just have to be able to put the resources in place so they have the opportunities
Let's do our part.
to improve and do
Right.
our part.
That's
But
it.
they still have to be willing to do the work.
That's
That's
facts.
the end of the day.
Absolutely.
The very end of the day.
And I wish that people had hope, like, because I feel like a lot of people, even the veterans I work with, and by the way, I'm not a spokesman for the VA. I'm just some dude that works there. Don't okay? So just so we're clear, VA, all right? Anyway, but when you have hope that listen, you can do this. Here's how, and instead of feeling like this is just my life. I'm not worried about my kids' education because I'm worried about how to get money for the light bill.
Right.
Yeah.
Selling my food stamps and my EBT card nowadays, whatever, for gas money, that's a life skill, right? And when you're in that kind of survival mode, it's just really hard to say, well, Timmy's got homework. Well, I'm not focused on Timmy's homework. We'll let the teacher deal with that.
I need to make sure Timmy got something to eat.
Right.
Yes.
So a lot of people have a misconception of poverty and, how they associate that with, intelligence level and laziness, when it's just not true, man. I used to invite my friends, like, come get in the trenches with me, man. You don't, you got it wrong. This is a lack of opportunity, not a lack, not a lack of will or resources as far as, because folks smart, man. They have to be to survive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
I get passionate about it, man.
I can tell.
I did, man. I've asked my wife to let me bring home more than one kid, man. She's like, no, we're not doing that.
Hey, yo, I see you, Pooh. I'm finna get you. I seen it. Hey, but this is why I do this. This is my ministry. This is our ministry. I have been told that you got to call in to God. Well, this is where I preach at right here. Because my goal is to get my community the best information that they can get so they can make the best decisions for them and their families. I want to thank Denny, Pooh. Thank y'all for what y'all do. Thank you for what you are embarking to do.
For sure.
Denny, please keep doing what you do. Pooh, please keep doing what you do.
Need y'all.
We need y'all. These kids need y'all. These parents need y'all. These veterans need y'all. The community needs y'all. And if there's anything, and I promise you, this is not lip service. If there is anything that Talking Random Ish can do to help, please holler at your boys. This is what we do. Definitely. This is why I'm back in Athens, to get my Athens back. That's it.
Right.
That's it. Anybody got anything else?
Oh yeah. I got a pub. Hello.
Go ahead.
I don't know who listening out there right now, but guess what? We got about 16 hours. Go buy some popcorn. I'm gonna put the link on Sherman Gartrell. Buy some popcorn, the best popcorn in the world.
Yes, sir.
But not only just because of the best popcorn in the world, but it's going to a great cause. Because what we try and do, we have a grassroots community baseball program that we're starting. And the goal is to keep the cost down for people in our community. And this goes a long way towards helping that. So check out Sherman Gartrell link. I'm gonna put the link in Sherman Gartrell on Facebook. So again, the store closes at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I know Friday's payday for all y'all. So no excuses. I set it up wrong. Rick told me I should set up from Tuesday to Friday. But it is kind of Friday, but it's early Friday morning. So we get up in the morning, eat them eggs, scrambled eggs or whatever. Let's make sure we buy some popcorn for later on at night, because March Madness is here.
Yes, sir.
Right? Popcorn.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Hey,
Go time.
Them quesadillas.
Yes.
That queso popcorn. Oh,
That's it.
Goodness.
That shadow one.
Again, on a serious tip,
They get me every time.
Hey, please support, because all this is going back to our community.
Absolutely.
We got to buy equipment, balls, et cetera, right? So again, we're trying to keep the cost down for our community, because we want a lot of kids that look like us to get more back involved with baseball.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Amen, man.
And other kids, but just more like our kids, right?
Yes,
so they look like us. So, because baseball is a great sport, it provides a lot of opportunity that other sports don't provide.
Absolutely.
Right.
And people don't understand that, because we always push our kids to basketball and football.
Right.
And self-discipline, patience, all those great qualities kids need, man.
Yeah.
Baseball,
And then,
learn that in
even with
baseball.
baseball, and another, thank you. So another thing, even with baseball, they come out and learn baseball. It's a transitional sport. Like
like it gonna help you in football, it gonna help you in basketball, it gonna help you in track, like you know what I'm saying, like because it's just a technical sport, so it's gonna make them more sharper in the other things they do. So, but again, double good popcorn. Get your popcorn tomorrow before 10 o'clock, so you can enjoy March Madness. That's it. Go ahead.
Hey, this game called life is a series of moments. The past, it's just that the past, learn from it and be thankful for it. The future, prepare for it. It's coming. Let's get to the next one. The present, it's a gift. Enjoy the journey. Take pictures, but most importantly, thank God. BL, get us out of here.
While on a video call with my therapist, trying to make sense of an extraordinarily exasperating week, I was attempting to explain the details of how I found myself on this particular path. She was patiently dissecting my excuses while not letting me justify my regression, slowly, methodically, invalidating my reasoning, while simultaneously admonishing me for relinquishing my boundaries. Still, I was hoping for reassurance that somehow, despite it all, progress was still being made. Even in the midst of my recent backsliding, even though, lately, I felt more akin to a man who was hanging by the end of his rope, whose grip was loosening as he was starting to slide, feeling as if his hands were covered in oil and there was no one that cared to save him. Instead of giving me the reassurance that I was so desperately desired, my therapist tilted her head, looked right into my eyes and asked, "Larry, tell me something. Who are you?" My expression must have conveyed my confusion because her gaze softened while she wet her lips. She began to clarify her question. "I want you to tell me who you are." Who is Larry? I don't mean who he is to everyone else, but who is he to you? Because until you know who he is, these conversations are simply going to continue to be just that, conversations. I need for you to provide some illumination into your inner being. Who is the real person that Larry is seeing? Now, me believing in my therapist and hoping to receive an unbiased view, slowly took a deep breath and began to spew my innermost thoughts. I am a son who is afraid that he will never achieve the expectations of his father, even though his father has never given him any expectations to achieve. This same son wants to follow the path that his father has left for him, but it's been so long that he is starting to forget where that path begins. I am a son who is trying to protect his mother, protect her from the pain that inflicts her, knowing that the task at hand is impossible as it sounds, still trying to make up for being a whole ass when he was younger. I am a father who has given his son every resource to succeed, yet is terrified that his son will not reach his full potential, and by allowing him not to have made sacrifices when he was younger, perhaps I have not prepared him for the world and doomed him to fail. I am a husband who loves his wife with everything that he has, but is not confident that his everything is enough. That if I squeeze too tight, or not tight enough, she will slip between my fingers like grains of sand in an hourglass. I am a friend who feels that he is orbiting on the edge of his own inner circle, slowly drifting through space like shards of a shattered moon, kept at arm's length, just close enough to be accepted, but far enough to be ignored, wishing that he would reach out more to those that he loves, but afraid of the pain that it will cause if he truly allows them in, or if they are taken from his life. I'm a writer who needs to write more, yet still only writes when the feeling hits, often ignoring verses that materialize in my spirit, sacrificing my patience, my passion, my inspiration, my insight at the altar of boredom and laziness. I'm a poet who feels every emotion on the spectrum, every high, every low, and all those in between. And though my highs have reached the gates of heaven, conversely, my lows have touched the depths of hell, fluctuating between joy and sorrow, riding the waves of empathy as if I was learning to surf during a hurricane. fighting the undertow of depression while embracing the rise of hope. I am the employee whose expectations for himself are higher than any manager could ever place on him, whose criticism is harsher than any reprimand could ever be given, but who is afraid that one day they will pull back the curtains and see that I am a fraud. I am a thinker who overthinks, the lover who does not love himself, the one who forgives the transgressions of others, but has forgotten how to forgive his own. I am he who loves solitude, but knows that the silence can be deafening, so loud that it pierces my eardrums. At times I am lonely, even while being in the midst of a crowd, a clown who has lost his ability to smile. But I guess, if we're being honest, and if the truth be told, I am simply a man who is afraid that his best isn't good enough. And when he is gone, no one will remember that he was here, and no one will have even cared that he is no more. With that, I stopped shaking, calmed myself, and began to breathe again. My therapist set down her notebook, slowly removed her glasses, and with a smile, she told me, now the work can finally begin.
That's awesome.
Hey y'all, it's about that time to sweep the floors. We're gonna clean these clippers. Since Samuel decided to join us tonight,
Hold up.
the bathroom is yours. The shop is closed.
Gotcha.